everybody, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Cylver LIVing. I am Dr. C, and today we're going to be talking about organic foods, non-GMO, GMO, like what is the importance with all of this? So what is the big deal with organic? Why is everything being marketed as organic these days? Well, I'm going to start this conversation off by talking about the first time I really encountered this word organic, besides in organic chemistry and biology. I was in a grocery, and I think I was in med school at this time, and I saw a banana labeled as organic. And I just thought, okay, this is clearly a marketing scheme. I actually scoffed at it like, how can a banana not be organic? Anything that comes from the earth is organic. It's in its natural state. So why would they be marketing this banana as organic? Clearly, I'm gonna get the non-organic bananas because they're cheaper. But unbeknownst to me, there is a whole nother reason why foods are called organic these days. And it all boils down to toxins. And yes, there are some toxin bullies on YouTube, but toxin is a true word. That means that something, being a substance, is toxic to your body or harmful to your body. The toxins that I'm talking about are pesticides. Now, there are several different pesticides. There's herbicides and insecticides, and that's where we'll focus. Herbicide is something that kills herbs, specifically weeds. Insecticide, something that kills the insects that we don't want to eat our plants. And fungicide, basically something that avoids mold buildup or fungus buildup on our produce. In turn, helping your produce to survive and get to your groceries so you can consume it. Now that sounds all good, right? It sounds great. It sounds like, the farmers and the industries are trying to make sure they can get food to our table. How does this relate to organic foods? Well, organic foods are supposed to be foods that do not use herbicides or insecticides, or the greater category, pesticides. However, although there is a good intention there, and also, of course, if you sell more, you make more money, there is a adverse effect or side effect back to these herbicides and insecticides. And unfortunately, studies have actually shown and proven there have been links to ADHD, diabetes, heart disease, cancers like leukemia, lymphoma, obesity, did I already say diabetes, multiple myeloma, ADHD with these pesticides. So it sounds benign. It sounds like, we're trying to do the right thing by increasing the food supply, but at the same time, these studies are showing that these pesticides are actually sometimes toxins. And what should be even more bothersome to us is that this can actually trickle down to our children, literally. So whether it's through getting to the children through the womb, through breast milk, or even the food at the table, just by definition, children are young and they have a longer life to live. So if those toxins build up in their system or cause the mutations that contribute to nerve toxicity, the cancers and things like that very early, they have a higher chance of developing these diseases as they get older. So this is one of the reasons, this is probably the greatest reason why you should consider organic foods, because of the toxic effects of some of the pesticides that they use to try to increase production. this is why, although the intentions may have been great, I mean, I know that they're making more money by making more produce, but the intentions of getting us more food, yeah, that's great. But at the same time, you got to weigh it with the risk of potentially being exposed to an excessive amount of toxins. And you can look this information up. I am not making this up. If you need any resources, let me know in the comment below. And if you think of any other bad effects that I may have left out, link them in the comments so you can help everybody out in this silver lining community. So this brings us to genetically modified foods, GMO. So what that means is genetically engineered foods. So literally going into the genetics, into the DNA of these seeds and of these, the seeds of the fruit and vegetables and so on, and creating a change. Again, the change has a noble cause, which is to most times increase productivity by being naturally or genetically resistant to some of the insects and resistant to some of the herbicides. One of the common practices in GMO foods is to use bioengineering technology to make corn and soybeans more resistant to herbicides. What does this mean? Well, it means that the farmers are now able to not worry about killing the actual produce they're trying to make. So if you've got a patch of spinach and you've got a whole bunch of weeds growing over the spinach and you want to use a herbicide, you can go ahead and do that without worrying about damaging the spinach, because the spinach may be genetically modified to resist it. Unfortunately, we have a problem. If that food is not organic but genetically modified, that may just mean that you are now eating this spinach that is very resistant to this pesticide that is covered in pesticides. And sometimes just rinsing and washing your food does not get it off, and you end up with the same medical problems that I talked about before. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but you just increase your chance of that. And the same side effect you're probably trying to avoid by eating your fruit and vegetables. In turn, having a non-genetically modified food that is organic tends to be the best way to go. Most organic foods are not genetically modified, but it's not a guarantee because they could be contaminated through cross-pollination and things like that. But certainly not all non-GMO foods are organic, given the spinach example. So if you have a non-genetically modified spinach that is not organic, it can have a lot of the pesticides on it. But if you have a organic spinach, it is likely not genetically modified, but definitely will not be covered in pesticides, which is the main concern. We're now seeing that you have to use more and more of the pesticides to kill the weeds because they're becoming like super weeds, the same way bacteria are becoming superbugs and resistant to all kinds of antibiotics. These weeds are becoming resistant to a lot of pesticides. The other thing though to keep in mind about GMOs is the fact that you don't know what this genetic modification is going to cause years down the line. This is a fairly new technology. GMO foods and products were brought out in the 1990s, so we're still kind of seeing the effects. There's a lot of unknowns about them. So sometimes it may just be better to err on the side of caution rather than, testing these things out and finding out later whether it was a good or bad idea. So it's more and more important for us to be educated on the food that we eat, because the natural practices that we think are being used may not be being used, or there may be practices that we think are to our benefit, but there actually is a great risk. So you yourself personally watching this video, you have to determine whether if there's more of the benefit than that harm, that risk of potentially developing diabetes, neuro issues, ADHD, etc., etc. And this is not a fear tactic. This is actual facts. You can look at the EWG website. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, and that's not why I'm wearing green. There's a lot of information out there by a lot of nonprofit organizations that we could make very good use of. Now, with all this being said, how can we eat organic and non-GMO without breaking the bank? The EWG website put out something that's pretty useful called the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen. So the Dirty Dozen tells us the 12 things that are just, don't even bother not getting these organic. It's probably more beneficial to not eat them at all. You should, by all means, according to them, get these things organic due to high pesticide use. And then the Clean 15 list is a list of 15 products or produce that you could go ahead and get in whatever conventional way you will. So for instance, avocados. I'm always very happy that those make the Clean 15 list. They actually modify this list every year. So they're on the Clean 15 list, so I don't have to worry about getting them organic. I could actually just get them on special without worrying about it too much. So that's a way to kind of refine your list. If you don't want to get everything organic, you can at least stick to the rules of the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. Another thing that can make it a lot more affordable for you to eat organic or non-GMO foods is by eating seasonally. Now, what that means is eating the produce that's in that season. That makes it cheaper because it's more readily available. There's no major storage that is required because it's literally going from the farm to your table. The second thing is that it's more fresh. One of the ways that I try to eat seasonally is by keeping a list available. So I got this really cool design from this website called ahealthylifeforme.com, and I'll link it in the description box below. Again, I'm not advertising for them. I'm not getting paid by them or anything like that. But I came across this pretty drawing on Pinterest, and what I do, I just print it, put it in a frame from IKEA, and I plan to put this in my kitchen once it's done remodeling. And it has a list of the fruit and vegetables and produce that's seasonal during this month. So for the month of June, the month ahead, I used this last year, so I just have it available. Arugula, beets, blueberries, cabbage, carrots, cherry, cucumbers, green beans, garlic, green onions, kale, leeks, onions, peas, radishes, rhubarb, strawberry, and spinach. These are all going to be within season, so these are going to be part of the groceries that I use next month because they're going to be cheaper and they're going to be fresh. And then I could also support my local farmers by going to the farmers market and focusing on these foods. Well, of course, you also have to talk, if you're talking to farmers that don't use the labels, then you have to talk to them about their different farming practices to see exactly how they make their food. Hopefully we learned something new today. I hope that this brought more information to you so that you could more so determine if you want to eat more organic or more non-GMO. Let me know what you decide below. Tell me what you were doing and what you're going to do after watching this video. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a great thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram so you can follow my stories, what I've been up to in my different posts for motivation, as well as for just medical information that I randomly like to talk about. If you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell, okay? Hit the bell so you can get notified as to when I send a video or when I upload a video. It has been some time, but you gotta make sure to give yourself some TLC. So I took a little break and I'm back now. So until next time, signing out, medically yours, Dr. C.